Professor, what do you think, in your opinion, what is the biggest challenges concerning developing new technologies in smart grids worldwide?
I think the largest impediment is it's new. We don't quite know what a smart grid is. We don't know quite what we need, the tools we need, and so we're still understanding all the aspects of what a smart grid really means for high renewable penetration, what it means if you have 100% renewable on the grid. And we don't quite have all the tools to define that. We also have limitations in our ability to predict into the future what the resources will be, whether it be the wind resources, solar resources, and those are just getting started now. We can predict, we have typical meteorological years, and so the whole resource assessment area is still at best plus or minus 5% for yearly averages, and predicting next day is not even that good. I think it's an active area of research. We don't even know, we don't even agree on what smart grid means. I was just reading in the handbook of photovoltaics what smart grid meant to that author, and so I'm hearing different definitions from different people on what that means, other than we know it's more than a stupid grid. But I mean, a stupid grid meaning it's just power in and power out and operators flipping switches.
And how do you think we can solve this problem of definition?
The problem of definitions is typically solved officially in the international standards arena. There is an official terminology for solar standards, renewable energy standards, and so, for instance, IEC 61724 standard is the standard for photovoltaics terminology. So all the various terms and definitions, but I don't know what it would be for utility standards, utility terminology. But it would be nice if everybody agreed on what this meant.
Yes. And for you, what is the importance of the concept of smart grids to renewable energy become more a reality for us?
Renewable energy, utilities will throw up their hands and say go away if it's more than about 20 to 30% of the grid. And so the smart grid is critical for high renewable energy penetration. What to do with the excess photons, the excess electrons around noontime for solar. You have overproduction. What do you do at night for solar? Okay, you've got wind. You can do what Europe, what Germany did in Europe. They use the European grid as their storage. And so they could be 100% renewable and let the Europeans provide the extra power that they need when they don't have enough. But again, just managing those variable loads and zero power, full power, especially concentrating PV. As clouds come and go, it can be 100 times a second going from 0 to 100%. And so it can be very rapid changes as thin clouds come and go, or some shadow goes across the system.
And how's going the experience in Brazil here, in this moment that you are sharing knowledge, learning? How is going? What do you think?
I think my area of expertise is what does the watt rating mean for photovoltaics? What does it mean in a very technical term? How to measure it? How accurate are the world? Even though we have multiple gigawatts per year, we don't know the number better than 1% at any level of accuracy. The calibration labs, the standards are no better than 1%, and they're typically worse than that. And so that means you can't. If you've got $1 billion system, you've got a 1% uncertainty in the output of that system right off the top. That's real money. That's a lot of money. And so the smart grid and resource assessment will help that be able to get a better handle on the economics of it. One of the other aspects that is on a smart grid is the monetary aspect. When to go with hydro, when to do photovoltaics, and how to balance all your various options.
And anything that you want to add for us about the event, about the smart grids concept?
It's definitely an international problem. One of the challenges that the Department of Energy is looking at for the past couple years that relates to the smart grid is using hydrogen for storage. The idea there being if you have excess capacity like at noon from renewables and solar, you can produce hydrogen and then burn the hydrogen or convert it to methane and then burn that, or do something like that if you need extra energy. And so I think that concept of one of the problems is we may not have enough hydro resources, or we may not have enough batteries. It's not clear you can have terawatt hours of battery capacity. It may be technically feasible, but it would be like huge, massive buildings, and it would be a lot of maintenance problems. And so we don't, or even compressed air. And so the storage issues are real when you're talking about terawatts. And that's where we want to be for the smart grid. That's really what it's needed for. It's not for small microgrids. They work okay in them. But when you're talking about terawatts of power and managing that, and having it available when you need it, and what to do with the excess power, that's where the challenge comes in. So one of the concepts of just generating hydrogen, it turns out that if you look at the energy supply in the United States, about 2% of the United States' energy goes into hydrogen production. Okay, right now it's all just electrolysis and with standard grid power, but if you could do it a lot cheaper, like excess capacity on the grid where they don't know what to do with it, they'll sell it to you cheap. You may have prearranged contracts. Oh, we'll just start producing hydrogen when the price drops below a certain amount. And so the economics of that are being worked out in a serious way. They're spending money, they've got contracts, and so I see a lot of work in the United States for that in terms of where the emphasis on research money is going related to the grid.
So thank you for your contribution,
Sure,
Professor.
my pleasure.
So